With the incredible political divide in our country right now, have we lost the ability to have friendly political discussions with our friends and family? Clinical psychologist Dr. Chloe shared with NTD tips on how to rekindle those important kitchen table conversations without having to sacrifice our relationships.
Dr. Chloe, thank you so much for joining us today. As the presidential debate approaches, talk about the importance of being able to discuss politics with our friends, family, and colleagues in a cordial manner.
Yes, well, Chris, I'm so glad you asked about that because really when we think about the word politics, what it really just means is public life. And so, of course, we have to be able to acknowledge and discuss public life with friends and family in a cordial manner. I mean, if we can't be honest and talk about those things, then I think we're missing out on so many opportunities for basic connection with people.
Yeah, and it is an essential part of living in a healthy republic like we are striving to have. Now, politics right now are so divisive in our country. How is this impacting people's ability to talk about the news of the day with their friends and family?
People are terrified. They are so afraid of being canceled. There are so many cases even of parents whose children won't even speak to them. There's cases of employers, firing employees. Things can spin out so quickly that unfortunately I see a lot of people just, retreating into themselves, kind of doing the fight, flight, or freeze. And it's really sad to see because we do have an epidemic of loneliness in our society. And so to see people just retreating into themselves and having, more shallow interactions about topics that they're actually really passionate about, I would love to see them move forward from that.
What does that do for an individual when somebody kind of just puts these things inside of themselves that may be really important to them, but they don't express it?
Well, a lot of things. I mean, first of all, it can actually stymie your own thought process. So, one of the ways that we even just, develop and even discard ideas is by talking them through and, hearing ourselves think aloud and connect with other people. And then when we don't share something because we're afraid somebody would, cancel us, then we're actually kind of prejudging that person, which is a form of passive aggression. And it can almost cause us to resent someone for a reaction that they haven't even actually displayed yet, that we're just afraid of them having.
Interesting. So what impact does the inability to cordially discuss these types of things with other people have on our relationships with them?
Well, it causes us to be less authentic. And of course, there is an epidemic of loneliness in our society today, unfortunately. And so when we're not showing people our true selves or we're communicating that we're not really open to hearing their true selves, if on any level, we're broadcasting that we can't handle disagreement or that we don't think that they can handle disagreement, we're actually not really fully connecting with our full selves. The good news is there are definitely ways that we can set the table, literally and figuratively, to connect more fully and more peacefully, even if we disagree.
So yeah, let's get into the solution. What are those ways?
Well, there's a few ways. So first of all, to borrow a simple technique from couples therapy called reflective listening, what you do is, say person A is saying their opinion, person B will simply reflect it back and say, let me just make sure I understand you correctly. You're saying that you believe X, Y, and Z because 1, 2, and 3. Do I have that right? And then person A will confirm or clarify. And then you switch roles and person B says, okay, well, here's what I think. And then, person A does the same thing. And what the reflective listening exercise does is, first of all, it normalizes differences and it gives people a structured way to talk about it so everybody knows that they'll have a chance to be heard. But I think most importantly is it stops people from talking past each other. So many times people have these disagreements that spiral into, family feuds, and they don't even actually fully, truly understand where the other person's coming from in the first place.
Sure, got it. So just to kind of push back, what do you say to that person who says reflective listening? I'm not doing that. That kind of tough person, or somebody who's just not really open to that sort of idea.
That's absolutely fine. And so the beauty of that is that if you invite someone to do that exercise, the reflective listening, and they say that, well, great, then they're owning it. So, if you start to have a conversation and you discover that there are some disagreements and you say, okay, well, you know what, I want to do a reflective listening exercise. I want to say my piece, you reflect it back, or you go first, you say your piece, and I'll reflect it back, and we'll make sure that we understand each other. If somebody snubs you on that, frankly, I think you kind of dodged a bullet, if I may, of course, a metaphorical bullet, because then what you're doing is you're asking that person to own the fact that they're truly not interested in hearing what you have to say, and we can't control other people. So then we just accept that. We say, okay, I get it. You're not really interested. According to, you're not interested in hearing what I have to say and confirming you understand it and letting me listen to you and confirm I understand you. Okay. But I mean, at least then we've cut to the chase right there.
Yeah. And hopefully we can do that. And like I said, we really heal and restore the republic that we're living in right now. Thank you so much, Dr. Chloe.
Thanks, Chris.